Well, hello, hotties. Happy Monday. I am excited, as always. We're staring a new week in the face, and I hope that you are feeling positive. You are feeling excited, and I hope that this episode has hit you at the right time to make some sexy changes. Now, I feel like that when we talk about business, when we talk about entrepreneurship, challenges always come up. It's always around, here is what's happening, here is what we want to happen. It's about going from A to B. It's about strategy. And I think that we can get really kind of fixated on maybe like a number that we're working towards. So like our revenue, right? And if there is something that I wish that I had access to, it's like I feel like that when I was binging people's business advice, I would look at stuff and everyone was like, here, I'm at 7 figures and I'm at this and I'm at that. But they weren't talking about like the little granular things that were happening in their business. And as I was thinking about what I wanted to record today, I was thinking about how in my business there is stuff now that just doesn't happen, where it's just not even my reality compared to what I was dealing with 3 years ago. And the example of this was bounce payments. This came up with my clients this week in Business Bang. And I said that, there was once upon a time where I feel that 20 to 30% of my payments every single month would bounce. It's like people on payment plans, they would bounce. We would always have to chase them for cash. It didn't matter how many automations that I have that were set up. We were still dealing with bounce payments. And this is why I actually bought my bookkeeper into my business, because I was like, emotionally, I can't keep dealing with this. It's really hard if you're following people up for cash and then you're teaching them in the next hour. So I brought someone in to deal with this. And it's so funny that I spent so much time thinking about this, feeling like that if I'm an entrepreneur, I'm just going to always have to deal with this. Like bounce payments are just part of business. And if you ask any business circle, they'll probably tell you the same thing. But as someone that has been really intentional about the business they're building and how this looks, I wanted to come in and present to you some different perspectives of if you follow the business advice that I give, if you feel like you are building something professional babe approved, all of the awesome shit that you get to look forward to. This is what success feels like. And I want you to just think about this, right? So if you are in the messy middle, if you're in the trenches, if life is just like face fucking you, that's probably a lot for a Monday morning, but we went there. Whatever's happening this week is that this is going to be what you are working towards. Okay. Are you excited? I want to start by talking about the evolution of my client relationships. I am going to go back to when I started my business in 2020. Compared to now, and how I would take anyone. Because you think about it, it's like you need cash. I would work with anyone. It's like if there was any business that they wanted help, I would be like, yes, I will work with you. Now I get to be so selective. I get to pick and choose who I work with. I get to say no to consulting clients. There was a company and they wanted to do some work with me. And I was thinking, no, this is a really bad fit. I don't have a good feeling about this. I'm just going to say no. And this feels really good when you can be really selective of who you want in your world. And it's funny because when I tell people that I can pick and choose my clients, they're like, oh, you must be like raking in the cash every month. And not every month is a great month. That's just business, right? It's always going to go up and it's always going to go down. So it's so interesting that I look back to early days of when I couldn't do that. I look back to my Pilates studio and some of my clients were awful. One of them threw a fucking credit card at my face one time, literally pegged a credit card at my face. And I look at all of the stuff that I dealt with and now how, if a client isn't a good fit, I will let them go. If I feel that someone comes into my space and I was like, I am not really sure about this relationship, I just won't continue it. I won't pursue it. And it's like in dating. It's like just because a guy gives you attention doesn't mean you need to fuck him. And it's like, it's the same in business. It's like you get to a point where you know who you are, you know your standards, you know the kind of transformation that you can deliver. You are really clear on this. And that when people come your way, you feel fine to say no. You feel fine to say no because you know there's a great client around the corner. And you feel fine to say no because you've got cash in the bank. And you feel fine to say no because you have great clients that are in your space. This is something that's going to happen for you, right? How cool is that? So if you look at the clients you've got at the moment and you're like, oh, I'm not really lit up by this work, you are going to get to a point where you can be so choosy with the people that come into your space. How good is that going to feel? I want to say on that as well, it's like you are also going to get to a point where you have the confidence to say no and that you feel fine with that. Like I have said before to people, hey, I don't really think that we're a fit, but I'm going to refer you to this person. And I have the confidence that even though I'm currently saying no to money because the client needs something else, that I know that there are always more clients out there, that there could just be someone around the corner. There could be someone, as I'm saying no, that's sending me an email right now. I believe that to be true. And this is something that I think will develop over time as you start to get more evidence, right? More evidence that you can fill your evidence bag where you're like, there is a client around every corner. I think another thing that you get to look forward to is I feel that we all go through a stage sometimes where we feel like that we work with people that maybe don't respect us. And again, maybe this is something that you haven't had to deal with, but I feel like that as a mentor, I feel like life is like, look, this bitch is going to be a mentor. Let's throw her everything that can possibly happen. So when a client comes with a challenge, she's like, well, random you say that because I've dealt with that too. But there came a point, and again, I'm thinking more back to my Pilates studio now, where I just had some people that just didn't respect me. I wish at the time I had the confidence to let go of them, right? I had some people that I think because when I started my studio, I was really young. I did my training when I was in my late teens. I opened my business when I was 20. So you think about it, at age 24, I'd taught already thousands and thousands of Pilates classes, but people still thought that I was a kid. It also didn't help that I looked like a fetus. Like I looked very young back then. And I think that I also had attracted people that kind of felt like that they could walk over the top of me because they're like, what does this bitch know? She's really young. Now, I feel like that I have people that respect me so much that it's so funny. I had this week. I had almost like this realization moment where I have this beautiful client at the moment. She's listening to this right now, Brooke from Right Way VS, and that's right with a W. You know, I had given her advice on something. I think I sent her a voice note and I was like, this is what I would do. And I would send this email and I would do this. And then 3 days later, she just actioned everything on the list. And I had this moment of, oh my gosh, I love that I have clients that really respect the advice that I give them and they go and do it. It feels so good. Because, I feel that it is a rite of passage sometimes where you have clients and you tell them what to do and they just don't do it. And this, it pains me because it's like you tell people to do something, you give them everything. It's like you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. You get to a point where you start to attract people that really value your expertise, they value your time, and you move out of this thing where it's like, have you ever had a client before? And the energy is, I'm paying you for this service, so you better bleed for this service, right? Awful feeling. Compared to people who are like, oh my gosh, we love that we get to work with you. Like, you are the expert. We're so excited about this. I feel that if you are in the energy of feeling like that your clients are trying to bleed you dry, this is something really nice that you get to look forward to. The other day I was on a call with some clients. We've got a project that we're doing at the moment. They're releasing an incredible course. It's the first time that they've ever done something like this. And they brought me on, which I'm loving this project. It's funny because I said, I'm so sorry, we're going to go a bit over. Is that okay? And I think we were 5 minutes over and they're like, oh, we're just really, really conscious of your time. It's taken me a bit of time to get here of just having people that are just really respectful with one, the advice that I give, and two, the time that I have. And it feels really good that as someone that, like me, is very overgiving, that it feels like that there is a genuine appreciation of people on the other end. And I know you're probably like me too. It's like you're happy to overgive. You're happy to overdeliver. You are type A. You want to give really exceptional service, but you want to make sure that the people that are getting that are appreciative. And these clients are coming. This is going to happen. And I think it just starts with one client to show you that this is possible for you. And then the cool thing that happens here is then you get to raise your standard, and this is now the standard. The standard is set. Speaking of standards, my favorite thing to work on in my business, I feel now it is so easy to set and maintain really high standards within my business. Now, it's not always easy to maintain it because sometimes having a higher standard will mean that you have to do things that you don't want to do. But, an example of this is I have really high standards now around my content, my podcast, and the result of this is I can look at the work that I'm producing and it feels really, really, really good. And this has come about the standard that I've set where it's like we produce really high quality work. I think another thing that you will get to look forward to is you start to not need client validation. And this was something that I would always need. I would need praise or feedback that I was doing a good job. And I think that this was because there was still a part of me that even though I knew I was good at this, there was still a part of me that was unsure, where it feels really good now to get to a point where I don't need that. If a client doesn't give me any praise, sometimes I'm like, that doesn't mean that they're unhappy, right? But I don't need continual praise that the work that we're doing is good because I know that the work that we're doing is good. Because instead of needing a client to kind of like back that up. I can now do that myself. Like I don't need a client to tell me that I'm doing a great job. I can do that within myself. I can feel that within myself. And the cool thing is as well, when you have that, you're going to start to do less weird things, right? Like, have you ever over delivered for someone because you feel that they're not happy with the service? And then you feel like that you go above and beyond and you're like, fuck, I should have charged for that. Why did I do that? This doesn't even become a thing when you start to develop that. I'm going to say like self-validation, where you're like, I know this work is good. And even if like the client is not giving me like a fucking page-long poem of why I'm amazing, I know within myself that this is good work. And it becomes so freeing when you don't need the validation to continue and keep moving forward. It's like right now I'm releasing this little project. We're in the teaser stage. I'm so obsessed with it. It's so good. And when I've been putting it out there, you know, it is Easter weekend, so it is a bit quiet. It did fall behind a bit, so it's a bit unfortunate that we're launching it now, but that's okay. I thought to myself when I went to post this, I was like, if no one likes this, I don't care, because I really love this. And even if right now it falls flat on its face, which I don't think it will, but if it doesn't get the hype that I think that it should deserve, I know that it's going to get to a point where my brand will just pop off and the people that are meant to find me will go back, they'll binge this and be like, this is the best fucking thing that I've ever seen. And it feels really good now that I've got this within myself, that I don't need praise from people to know I'm doing a good job. I know I do good work. I know that the transformation that I provide, and now I can keep moving forward. And I'm not kind of feeling like that my progress isn't held back if I'm not getting continual praise and validation. Now, the next thing is a big one, and this is financial stability and cash flow. So oftentimes I think when you hear people talk about this in business, you'll talk about people that are hitting and maintaining really big months. I think that you 100% can. We have a bit of a different model where sometimes we'll do projects, we'll get pay in full. It's a little bit all over the place. Like I don't have a retainer-based model where everyone comes and they are paying a monthly retainer. It's sometimes a little bit all over the place. But I've gotten to a point now where I want to make sure that my lowest months ever can maintain my business. It can pay me, it can pay my expenses, it can fund my beautiful office. And then what happens is it's like anything that is above our lowest month becomes cream on top. And then what happens is that is then an overflow in the bank account and I just don't have to stress. And there was a time when I felt like that I was continually working, right? It's like I felt like that I'd have $1 come in and it would go to a bill. Or I would have $1 come in, it would go to tax. Or it would go to me. But I feel like that at the end of the month, we would kind of like use the surplus up, right? There was a point in time when I had a virtual assistant and she wanted to be paid at the start of the month ahead. And I was thinking, oh my God, I don't even know if we have the surplus for that. And I said, look, can you pretty please invoice me every fortnight? I'm really good for it, but this would just help so much with our cash flow. And that's what I had to do. I look back at that point where it's like, I couldn't afford a bad week because it would then really impact the next week. And I look now how, you know, don't tell anyone this. I didn't even really look at the money that we've made in March or at the start of April. I just haven't. Because when I look at my bank account, I look at the money that we have there. I've overpaid the tax account. There's just cash sitting there. And I don't have to stress. So if we have a shit month, it doesn't mean it's not the worst in the world. If we have 2 shit months, it's also not. If we have 3 shit months, it's also not. I don't think that there ever was a point in time where I felt like that this could be a possibility. I had convinced myself that we would have to get to like 7 figures or something, and I am nowhere near there. But I felt like that we needed to get to 7 figures in order to do this, and that is just not the case. This has come from being really quite clear and strict with my business, having a solid strategy, making sure that I stick to it, and investing where I know that I am going to get growth, right? This is me not saying don't spend money, but for example, like I waited until my phone was basically dead. It needed resuscitating, and I got to a point where all my apps stopped working. The bitch just died. Same with my laptop. And now the ROI that has made me has been exponential. And it's like you can invest in coaching, but you want to make sure that there is going to be return on investment, that you know that you're going to buy something and you are going to get growth within that. Now when I spend money, and having that as my barometer, it's like, cool, if I buy this, will I get ROI? Will it bring in, you know, speed, time, ease, or knowledge? Those 4 things. So speed, time, ease, and knowledge. Will it bring in that? Great, buy it. Okay, another thing that you are going to look forward to is the mental freedom of not having to check your bank account because you know that you have the cash there. And I'm not saying do not keep an eye on your finances, but what I'm saying is, as someone that always used to be a serial defaulter, like my NIB would go to come out of my bank account and it would default because I just wouldn't have the money there. I've been there. I've been where you are. And how good it feels to just have the money just sitting in the bank. So if I have a bill that's coming out or I need to pay something, but I don't have to stress about this. Oh my gosh, this feels so good. You want to talk about fucking freedom. The freedom to know that whatever bill comes your way, that you can pay it. Like, we think we want 7 figures, but let me tell you that feeling is so freeing. It is amazing. And it's something that I wish that you all could have. And you will have it. You will definitely have it. I think another thing that you get to look forward to is making pricing and money decisions and being okay with whatever happens. So an example of this is I am changing the price of my one-to-one services. So I've got my little strategy session, which is an hour. It's $990. And what I'm doing is I'm shifting it to $2,200 for 90 minutes. And we're adding like a couple of days support post that. And that's obviously a significant increase, but it's worth it because I find people will come for a solution that they need solved and they get that solution solved immediately with a process that works that will make them so much money. When I was telling someone about this, they're like, don't you think that's a significant increase? What if people wanted to buy and they didn't? And I'm like, but the thing is they didn't buy. Like if they were sitting waiting, I can't hold back my business growth while they're getting their shit sorted. Right? I believe that. I believe that 100%. And it's taken me a while to get to this point because I feel that there was once upon a time when I wanted to drag people, right? It's like, I was like, here is where we're working towards. I would want to drag them with me. And I would really feel that I would stunt my growth to wait until they caught up and then we could run together. And I realized that that was one of the worst things that I could ever fucking do is to hold myself back to wait to people to catch up. Because sometimes what you need to realize is you have to run so far fucking ahead that people realize that, oh my God, we started at the same point and she is all the way up here and I am still back here. What I want you to think about is sometimes you need to kind of like have this massive growth spurt for the people that are meant to work with you to realize, holy shit, I need to get my shit together because she is clearly getting her shit together. And where this feels so good now is there was once a point in time when I was so stressed and I would put out all of these reminders and I would follow everyone up being like, don't miss out, don't miss out. You don't want to miss out on the price increase. And I don't have the mental anguish that comes from making a decision. I make the decision, I run the numbers, I'm like, yes, this is a good idea, and I just action it and I move forward. I don't lose sleep over it. If I lose a client and they can't afford it, well, you can go to another offer or you can listen to a podcast. Like, we're really lucky there's so much free stuff, but I'm not going to hold myself back. This feels so good when you get to this point where you are fine either way. It is so freeing. It feels amazing. I think also when you feel really confident in your pitch. So like if you're telling someone the price, it's like if I said to someone, yeah, we can work together, this 90-minute package that I've got, it's like $2,200. This for me feels so neutral. I think another thing that I feel really good in is when I look at the work and the offers that I'm putting out there. So it's like if I look at my offers that I'm selling, all of my content, my podcast episode, I really feel like I've gotten to a point now where this is me. Like I'm really in flow with what I'm doing. Where what it felt like when I started and what I was selling, it kind of felt like what I think that I should be doing, right? Like I remember my first ever offer that I sold within this business was a membership, a Professional Babes membership. And it was good and I liked it. And then I was like, let me sell a mastermind to help people create a course and make $10,000 with it. And it was called like Market Your Way to 10K. And I liked it, but it felt like I was trying to fit in with what everyone was doing. I look at some things that I was doing and I was like, it kind of worked, but it kind of wasn't. When now it feels really good to, I think, have the confidence to release something that feels like that it's an extension of me, that this is so on brand, that even if not everyone gets it, that's fine because the right people get it. And I think, if there is a theme throughout everything that I'm talking about is I feel that you get to a point in your business where you don't need the external validation because you can just do it yourself. It's like, even if it's quiet, even if you're not getting praise, even if you're not getting feedback or even fucking people paying you money, that you know within yourself that you are doing good work and that you are here to change the world and that everything is going to work out. And of course it will because you're you. You're going to get to a point where that will happen. Because for me, I've gotten to a point now where I don't need sales to know that I'm great. Like, our sales have probably scaled back a bit. They're a lot higher than they used to be. I feel that we position now Give Good Email and Business Bang. It's more expensive than, say, my $35 offer. People may take a little bit more time to buy. So because of that, sometimes we'll have a week and I won't sell anything. But guess what? I'm completely fine with that. My self-belief doesn't waver if proposals do not get accepted, or if I put out a call to action and I'm met with silence. I'm like, great, I rebrand it. Oh, they're so excited, they just fainted. Oh, they had to ring their mum and tell her. They are madly selling shit on the Facebook marketplace to make this happen. Because I know within myself, I have enough data to know that this is good work. And I think that this is something that you will find for yourself is if you are really unsure, okay? Like if you feel like that you need to go to the group chat and ask them what to do and ask 5 different people, consult ChatGPT, do your fucking tarot cards, get your tea leaves read for you to then be like, okay, cool, yeah, this is good. You're going to get to a point where you're going to fuck that off. Like, let me tell you, my tarot cards have been touched so much less in the last 6 months than they ever have been, because I don't need some fucking cards to tell me that I'm doing a good job. I know I'm doing a good job. And you're going to find this too. So this is a really good marker of growth. If you're finding that you're going and you're asking external people less because you now have this like deep certainty within yourself, 2 fucking thumbs up. That's what we want. That means that you are heading in the direction of your growth and where you want to go. We love that. We love this. I think when it comes to business and entrepreneurship, we have picked a harder path. We have picked a harder path than getting a well-paid job, because the thing is, when we create our own income, there is also this huge personal development journey that's just slapped on top of us. And the amount of stuff that we have to deal with that we never thought that we would have to deal with. All of these things. Like if someone told me all of the stuff that I was going to have to go through to build a successful business, I don't know if I would have done it, because there's a lot that we have to do. There's a lot we have to learn. There's so many ways that we have to grow. But I can wholeheartedly say that I have gotten to a point that whatever happens in my personal life and in my business, I actually know that I will be okay. And this is so freeing. This gave me the ability to completely close my business down, sell my Pilates business, and move states and start again, and not really know what I was doing, but be completely fine. And again, this has been a process that I've worked through, where I now know that if I ever stop doing what I'm doing now, that I'm like, I don't want to do consulting anymore, I want to start an e-commerce company, is that I feel really sure of myself. And this is something that will happen for you. And you may be having a day where you don't feel like it because you are in that messy middle. So what I want you to think about is, what can you do to kind of create that feeling of like certainty within yourself, where if you are someone that is continually going to like external sources to kind of say, yeah, you're doing great, you're doing amazing. If you're needing kind of like the likes and the opens of the emails and the sales to validate you, remove all of that for a second and ask yourself, if I didn't have any of that shit this week, what can I do to make me feel really sure and really certain that I'm doing good work, and that even though I'm not getting any feedback that I am doing great work, that I know that I am. That's going to look different for all of you. But if you can work out what that is for you, you will you will just grow. You will go to that next level. For me, what that is, it's creation. Anytime I feel like I'm blocked and I'm going to other people, I look within my business and I'm like, you need to create more. You need to be a bit more creative. You don't have an outlet. Why this for me is my marker of this is because I feel that there's so much deep satisfaction that I get out of creating within my business. If I'm writing, doing stuff like this, that I feel so deeply satisfied that I don't need anything else. Like this for me is so cup filling. I know that the sales will come. I've got so much data of that. This is what I need. So you have to find what that is for you, and then you just have to do it. And whenever you have a moment where you feel wobbly, go back, do it. For some of you, it may be just stopping and looking at your home. Maybe your kids are playing outside and you can look and be like, you know what? Me following my vision did this. Like it pays for this fucking home. Maybe you can look at your kids and you're like, how good is it that I get to spend all this time with you and I don't have to put you in childcare. Or maybe you're looking at the fact that you're away on holidays, or you have complete location freedom, or you're not chained to your desk, like you're not sitting under fluorescent lights, like whatever the fuck it is. And you tell yourself that of course it's going to be okay. Of course it is, because look at the life that you have that other people don't have. And look at that. Remember that. Remember who the fuck you are. It's all happening. I'm so excited. I am so excited. I love you more than... Why are we singing? Look, I'll tell you what I love you way fucking more than. I love lipstick. You know what I don't like? When it fucking melts. Why is this melting? It's so good though. It is. I love these. You know what? Chemist Warehouse stresses me out. I don't like it. I wish they had like a luxury Chemist Warehouse, which I feel like is a completely different business. It's now like Mecca Cosmetica. But it's too loud in there and it's too cramped and there's too much stuff. And I don't like all the labels. I just don't like anything about it. But I do like that they have this and it's like 50% off. But I don't like that it's melted. I think my handbag got really hot because this doesn't normally happen. So these are the Revlon Super Lustrous Shine lipsticks. This is glossed up rose, which is like a rosy pink. But then I have another one. Where is that? This one. I love this one too. This one looks insane with blue eyeshadow. And this is 021. So sleek pink. I love them. I wear them like lip gloss and I go through them so much. These go down to $15. You know what I love? I love spending money, but I also love saving money. And these are really good quality. The only thing that I don't like about Chemist Warehouse is they have to wrap the bloody sticky tape around them and it's such a nightmare to get off. But this color, I love this color as well. Look at that. Beautiful. They put me in a good mood. Whenever I'm not feeling myself, I'm like, well, put yourself some lipstick on and go and feel yourself, girlfriend. So I love you more than that. I love you more than, oh my God. Okay. You know what I love you more than? I go to Laurent. People rip me off because they're like, why do you go there all the time? It's kind of like this chain. Oh, okay. So hold up. In New South Wales, we have this like place, I don't even know if it exists anymore, called Michelle's Patisserie. And it reminds me of like an elevated Michelle's Patisserie. There's so many of them around Melbourne. I don't think that they're in any other state. And they do like these like beautiful French cakes. And that's why I said Michelle's Patisserie, because they have cakes. It's obviously not the same caliber because I'm pretty sure Michelle will sell like cling wrapped banana bread and lamingtons. And Laurent sells these beautiful little cakes. But do you know what I love? They have so many staff at the one near work and most of them know who I am. I don't get a number anymore. So I go in and they write on the docket Peter and everyone knows who the fuck I am. Do you know how long it has taken me to get to that local, that point where I am a local in a place where there is such high turnover. There's so much foot traffic. Like this to me feels like an achievement. So I love you. I love you more than my sexy little weekend work stints. They're really fun. I love coming in. I feel really, really productive. And I love you more than, oh my God, hold on, my basket. Can you see this? Can you see my basket? You probably can hear my basket. I love you more than this. I normally have like a little scarf attached to it, but I had taken it off and it's just, I love it. It makes me like, I will tell you something. I really struggled with the reusable bags at Woolworths. I didn't like them. And everyone was like, you're so bad for the environment. And I'm like, I don't think I'm bad for the environment. I don't want to carry around that fucking ugly bag. It puts me in a horrendous mood. Like it makes me feel physically angry in my body holding that like disgusting bag. I don't like anything about it. So I just was really terrible at using them. And I was like, I need to obviously get better at this because, you know, everyone like cares about the environment. And here's me who's like, can't seem to get their shit together and just keeps getting these plastic bags. Then I got a basket and I was like, oh, you're actually really good at thinking about the environment when we consider aesthetics. And those reusable Woolworths bags make me angry, but that basket does not. It puts me in a good mood. It makes me want to cook. It makes me want to put green things in there as well. It's like my vegetable intake has increased buying that basket because it's like the whole aesthetic is now considered. I love you more than that. Hot stuff. We're going to have a good week. We're going to have a sexy week. The best way.